TI family, Christina Maria back with another video. Gonna upload a video later today of a recording to better explain what a target individual has to endure and the technology. Where I break it down pretty good. So I'm just watching my perps. What they're doing right now is they're actually suffocating my energy field from collecting natural energy, filling the environment around me. They're numbing it out. They're attacking the center of my chest with this feeling. So trying to collect the emotions around me and vibrations, I'm not able to do. It's worse than suffocation. Suffocating my spirit is what they're doing right now. And it's scum. They're just scum. They're still like gung-ho on being some form of authority. They really think they're powerful, and without this tech, if you turn this technology off, they probably fucking collapse. Like, they've invested fucking so much energy into this tech, they'd probably fucking just collapse, like, on the spot. They're not shit without it. All the technology and even the intelligence is encountered through the intelligence. I don't even know why they bother to call it counterintelligence, because they actually encounter it. Now that we're at, going through this spiritual warfare, like, they're encountering intelligence because it's a collective. It has to receive, and it bases its responses on receiving responses from us. So it's like it's like a combination of predictive patterning that's aligned with a net. It's basically like a network of frequencies in our environments. So it's collecting data by expected responses. So it's basically, poke, and humans' nature is to respond. We respond in, ego, emotions. If somebody pokes you, you're either going to say ow or don't do that, just depending on your nature. So this is what we're dealing with. It's predominantly force responses. They're trying to use the terms free will as an excuse to excuse their behavior and spiritual permissions, but from my experience, they're forcing and going against free will, and they're trying to manipulate even further to reel out their agendas and this AI and New World Order hoopla. And they're claiming that humans still have free will, even in the spiritual, that we still have spiritual free will. And I'm here to tell you this is bullshit. They go against free will. They do forced responses, this, that, and the other. They break all the rules, even in the universe. The spirit, universal laws, spiritual laws, man-made laws. They've broken all of them. So this, my gut feeling is just telling me they're going to get wiped out. Like, it's going to take something major to come in, and that would be the Most High, because man's not going to do it. Obviously, because even, we got the UN, we're supposed to do hold a meeting or conference to expose covert harassment and, talk about it. Never happened. Obviously, the governments across the world are not stepping up to the plate and doing their job. So it's really going to take a, higher force, and the Most High to come in and really, say, look, y'all got to go. You got to get out of here. You got to go. It's just out of control. It's getting out of hand. But the audio that I took, I didn't do a video. It was actually just audio recordings that I, recorded so I can document what is being done and how it's being done, to give a thorough explanation for not only other TIs to really understand their techniques and manipulations, but for everybody, even outside the community, to better enter and understand what is being done to victims like us. you know, and I hear that word. You got to, it's a fine line between being a victim and a pity party, because I hear a lot of TIs who don't have it as bad as some of us high profile targets, who are severely targeted in the worst way. This is trauma based garbage. It's trauma based. So you have the right to define yourself as a victim, because you can't sit here and say, hey, you know, I was raped and I'm not a victim. You know, you can't. A lot of TIs try to say that, you know, stop playing the victim. There's a fine line between walking around having a pity party and being emotionally damaged or hurt, because this is trauma-based mind control. So you are allowed to feel, you know, emotionally hurt and damaged, and you're allowed to feel like a victim, because you're victimized. This is trauma-based. You're being beaten. Everything's being taken away from you. You're being hurt by scandalous scumbags. You know, sexual harassment, assaults, rape, virtual. You know, they think because it's no-touch torture that it really, you know, the pain still feels the same. Just because it's being done virtually these assholes need excuses to justify their behavior. This is how childish they are. These are grown men. Grown. Like, super fucking grown. Some of them are like 60s, 70s. You know, we're talking senior citizen grandpa status that are up in these, you know, secret societies. And they're actually making excuses to justify their animalistic, narcissistic, psychotic behavior. There's no excuses. You can't sit here and say the devil made me do it. Like, that's no longer an excuse anymore. So, you know, at some point, these assholes are going to have to put on their big boy pants and say, hey, you know what? That probably wasn't such a good idea to go around, you know, stalking people covertly, harassing them and killing them and forcing them to commit suicide and, you know, raping them virtually and covertly. Probably shouldn't have done that. You know, and the many other things that we've done. That's, you know, that's a lot of stuff. Like, I kind of get why they're, you know, avoiding guilt trips, because I'm pretty sure they would probably fucking combust if they were faced with the ultimate truth, which is the Most High, which they do not want to face. I don't even think they can look at themselves in the mirror like their own reflection. Just so much wickedness that they've involved themselves in, and they're trying to sugarcoat it by smear campaigning victims, accusations. Oh, you did this. You did that, and you did this, so this is why I'm doing this to you. That's not how it works. Like, oh, you kicked a dog in the keister back in 87. This is why I'm covertly raping you. Not so much. That's not going to stand in court. So, like, you know, this is what we're up against. And they want to use titles, systematical titles, such as military, counterintelligence, Mossad, M16s, you know, the whole nine, military, fucking yada yada, police, all of that, all of the above, is some systematical authority over your subconscious mind, which is another manipulation tactic, because when you're covertly doing this to somebody, you are no longer considered a systematical role of authority. You are now a criminal. You know, you can't walk into a court, you know, if this was put on trial and say, hey, the reason why I raped her covertly and trafficked her virtually and pinged her in the fucking head all day was because, well, I worked for the CIA. That's not going to work out for them too well. So, all TIs, please keep that in mind, so your subconscious recognizes them to be just, that's all they are. They're criminals, they're terrorists. There's no excuse for their behavior. Do not allow excuses. You got to put your foot down when they're bombarding and infesting your brain with their spam. Let your heart be your firewall too. Something that I've learned, they will try to give you what they call conditioning, and I'm going to talk about conditioning on my next videos too, but I'm going to talk about it now. Conditioning. Do not fall for it. Conditioning is sort of like a permission, if you will, of accepting habitual behavior. So something that becomes a habit, you can actually break free from. Even no matter how hard it gets, eventually you can break free from it. You just have to retrain your mind and take your attention span elsewhere. Remove it from the situation, which is usually they try to get you into this kind of compulsive, addictive behavior. It's like hypnosis. I hate to say compulsive, but it becomes an addictive behavior because they are hurting you, and you get into that habit of wanting to hurt them back. This is what narcissism does. Narcissists, they love for the victim to react based on emotion. So how to leave a narcissist dead in their tracks in starvation mode is to not give them any emotion at all. So you have to make that a habit. You have to remember that you're dealing with narcissistic behavior. This is another reason why they act like children or respond like children when they're not getting their way. So you have to just dead it. Leave them in their tracks. Walk away from it. You can't help them. You cannot babysit their ego and try to make them feel comfortable. Be unconditional love. Let go of the anger as much as you can. The grudges, try to let that go because it'll help you. And I'm speaking from experience. It'll better assist you on your journey and your targeting. If you just let go and release. If they want to continue to roll around in the filth, allow it to be their problem. They're grown. They know right from wrong. It just is what it is. They're grown. They know right from wrong. They're not stupid. They didn't come into this world like, I don't know right from wrong. These are grown-ass men. They know better. So don't babysit their emotions to make them feel comfortable. If they're not willing to work on themselves, it's not your responsibility. So I hope that makes sense, you guys. I love you. Stay strong on the battlefield.